Good.
So a couple orders of business. First, I need to take a selfie with you all. How many of you have an ocarina? Okay, do me a favor. Well, it's more than the last Pannel I did. Raise your ocarina in the air. We're gonna do a quick selfie.
I don't have it with me.
You don't have one? We're selling ocarinas.
Yeah.
For later down in the exhibit hall. So, all right. Hope the light is good here, actually. All right, here we go. Quick selfie. All right, 1, 2, 3. I don't think you're all gonna fit, but whatever. Here we go. Nice, thank you. Second, I have a email sign-up sheet up here. If you guys, how many of you actually follow my channel and my music? Anybody? A couple people in here? Cool. For those of you who do not, I forgive you. Second, you can follow my YouTube channel and my concerts and all that kind of stuff. I travel and perform all the time, so I'm going to pass this around. Everyone who signs up for this is going to be entered to win a little plastic ocarina. So, can you pass this there and then just, like schoolroom style, you're all signing in for class. That's what we're doing right now.
Is there a pen?
I have a pen too, yeah.
I'll sign up. Why not?
Yeah. Cool. For those of you who do not know, I'm here with Songbird Ocarinas this weekend. We're selling ocarinas down in the exhibit hall. You can drop by anytime. There's all kinds. I actually have a couple that we're selling up here. So I'm going to show you those. And then if you have any questions that we can't get to during this panel, you can come to the booth. We can talk. I can give you a one-on-one lesson if you like. And I'm not going to charge you for it, so that's cool too. So first, I'm going to start off with a little song. I don't usually have this. This is the Muse. It's one of my favorite ocarinas, but it's usually too big to squeeze into my luggage and stuff. So I'm gonna play with that tonight. Let's see. I like to start off with the Zelda song just because most of us are Zelda fans. Let's see if I can. start into this. I don't have a whole lot of time, but there's going to be a portion for Q&A at the end, so if you guys have any questions, go ahead and start thinking about those now. What I'm going to talk about tonight are the many different styles of ocarinas. Most of you guys in here probably have 12 holes or pendant ocarinas, but there's more to collecting ocarinas than that, so I'm going to discuss those, the history behind them. We're going to have a little play along, so if any of you guys want to play with me, we're going to try that and see how well that goes at the end. But a little about me. Some of you already follow me, so you know this already, but I discovered the ocarina back in the year 2000 through a Nintendo Power magazine. Some of you might remember this advertisement here on the left. This made me cry when I first saw it, and I was like, they exist, it's beautiful. And I got one for my birthday. I loved it for 2 weeks, and then I broke it. And then I cried again, but it's okay because I later I bought that ocarina you see on the right side. That was my very first YouTube video I posted back at the end of 2006, and now it's the most popular ocarina video on the internet with over 7 million views, and it's still kind of going up. I actually just took this picture today, so I was like, oh, I didn't know it passed 7 million. That's cool. Now I am the official ocarina player for The Legend of Zelda: Symphony of the Goddesses. Has anybody seen that yet?
Twice!
I don't think I'm going to get to perform at the San Jose concert, but I'm going to be at the LA one if any of you guys want to go down there. If any chance you get to see this live performance, it's incredible. I was also the ocarina player on Zelda Reorchestrated's Twilight Symphony. I don't know if any of you guys checked that out. And also Theo Finney's Time's End Majora's Mask tribute album. Those are both amazing albums. They're kind of hard to get. I think the Theo Finney one is still like on Bandcamp and Louder. So the remixes on those are amazing. So now let's talk about the ocarina. So what is it? Here's some general classifications. An aerophone is a type of flute instrument. Most flute instruments fall into that category. To be more specific, it is a globular flute. You can tell just by looking at it, it looks like a globe. It's a chamber, it's round, it's different from transverse ocarinas, the ones you see that you play on the side like this, because rather than the pitch depending on how long the tube is, the pitch depends on how big or how small the chamber is, which we'll talk about that in a second. They come in a wide variety of materials. Most of them that we have are from clay. There's a couple from wood that I have up here, and then they also make them in plastics and metals and a very cool material that you guys probably have on your countertops called Corin. And those are super hard, super durable. You can throw them in your swimming pool if you like. I don't know why you would do that, but you can. This is some anatomy of how the ocarina plays. So the chamber is called the vessel or the body. They're also called vessel flutes. The holes on top are called tone holes. That's what changes the pitch. The more holes you have open, the higher the pitch, and the more holes you have closed, the lower the pitch. So typically, to figure out what key your ocarina is in, you would cover all the tone holes and blow, and that's usually what we call the tonic. How the pitch is actually created, if you look at the top one, there's a bevel or ramp, and it works kind of like a bottle top. If you ever blow over the top of a Coke bottle, and it creates that kind of whistling sound, that's basically what that ramp does. It splits the tone, or your airflow, and it goes inside the chamber if you look at the bottom diagram, and your breath vibrates within the chamber and helps create the tone. That's as far as my theory of acoustics goes, because I don't really understand how it all works. But really, just depending on your ocarina, sometimes there's strong airflow, sometimes they're soft. So typically they start really soft on the low notes, and you have to raise your breath as you go throughout the range. Which, if you guys want more information about that, come see me at the booth, and I'll explain it a little bit more. There are many different shapes and sizes. I have a couple different ones up here. So the smaller the ocarina, the higher the pitch. I actually have a tiny one here that we're selling downstairs. And this is a sopranino. And it sounds really high-pitched, kind of like a bird singing. Annoy birds. Or crickets. So those are awesome. The bigger they are, the lower the pitch. This is one of the other ones we have for sale downstairs. They can only have 2 of these. This is the one I played at the opening, and I love how rich and beautiful it sounds. And yeah, so the typical range or size of yours is about this big. That's an alto C range. Each size has kind of a different class name, kind of like recorders or other band instruments, sopranos, altos, tenors, baritones, all that kind of stuff. But the alto C is definitely the most popular range for most ocarina players because it's the range from the video games. So that's something good for you to know. Before we get into the different styles, I want to talk about probably the most important thing you're going to get out of this presentation, which is the worst ocarina ever. And I'm sorry to say, some of you probably have this ocarina, and I'm going to explain why, but I apologize if you purchase this. This is this is widely available now on the internet. I actually have one here. I purchased two before. It looks kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. It definitely looks like a Zelda ocarina. It's got the Triforce going. They're flooding the market right now because they're made in China and they're not very well tuned. In fact, the kind of the difference in quality varies from ocarina to ocarina. People bring these to me at cons all the time and they say, "This doesn't sound right. What am I doing wrong?" And that breaks my heart because they think that they're the problem, but really they're not. And it's this ocarina, and I'm going to demonstrate for you in a second. But I just want you to know it's not your fault. You're a perfectly beautiful human being.
Thank you.
And I believe in you. So, I think what really tempts people with this is, one, it looks like the Zelda ocarina, but two, it's super cheap. You find these for like $12, $15, $20 on Amazon. Here are just a couple different websites that I found them on. And as soon as you type in ocarina on Amazon, boom, it's the first 3 listings. Actually, it's like the first 10 listings. Different distributors from all over the world are selling these things for different prices. The second thing is eBay. Top 3 searches when I searched on eBay. And on the right, that's bangbid.com, which has been selling lots of different Chinese imports. It's $13.50 over there. So don't be tempted by the super low price and the kind of cool looks, because there are much better Zelda ocarinas out there. It's so tempting, in fact, I just went on Facebook the other day and 2 of these ads popped up. On the left, it's like, there's a tag a huge Zelda fan, hurry, get 50% off. On the right, 60 to 90% off discounts, only 2 left. These are huge lies. Do not be tempted. So let me actually play it for you. I feel like I've got all this hype. So this is what a good ocarina sounds like. This is this one. Those of you who don't have like relative pitch or like really good ears, it starts off nice, and then it just slowly likes to go flat, and it's horrible as you go to the top of the range. So
That's why I can't
you can kind of play some Zelda song. No, you can't. Never mind. Just stay away from them. You might get lucky, like maybe 1 out of 10 is probably okay. In fact, the guy brought it to me at the last con. Everything was good up to the top 3 notes, and they were just horrible. And so I have a buddy trying to help him out because he spent $60 on it, and I just felt awful for him. So if you get nothing else out of this, warn your friends, hide your kids, hide your wife. These are not great. Okay, so ocarina types. So what inspired the ocarina? These are not what originally inspired for them. These are some ocarinas you'll also find on eBay and in some music shops. These are Peruvian ocarinas made in South America. They're frequently found on eBay, like I said, but they make better souvenirs than musical instruments. I don't have one with me, I forgot to bring one, but typically if you tell a family member that you like an ocarina, they'll bring you this, and it's horribly out of tune. Sometimes they look nice, but other than that, they're just really souvenirs and gifts. They're really not tuned at all. Actually, if you look at your ocarinas, you'll see that each hole is a different diameter. And the reason for that is because they're each tuned to a specific pitch. If you look at one of those, every hole is the same size, and so you really only have about a range of 5 whole notes, if you're familiar with like music theory and stuff. So these are okay, but where these originally came from are from South America, like the Incas and the Aztecs, and And Hernando Cortez, for those of you who remember your history lesson, in the 1500s he went to South America, kidnapped some Native American musicians, and then brought them back to Spain, where he showed off their amazing polyphonic flutes that fascinated the European courts. And it took about 300 years before they caught on and became westernized. So this is the 10-hole transverse ocarina. The guy up there on the right is Giuseppe Donati. He was the guy who actually invented the ocarina. In fact, ocarina is an Italian word for little goose. Oca means goose, and rina means little. 1850s, they were designed to play classical music and opera type stuff, and they're heavily used in ensembles. In fact, I just came back from a festival in Italy where they celebrate the ocarina every 2 years, and ocarina ensembles from all over the world come and compete against one another. And it's so cute because they play these like oompa polkas, like oompa oompa oom, which sounds like this. This is actually the ocarina there. This is an Italian style from the last 10, 15 years or so. So they play polkas. Which is perfect timing because my buddy German is here and he's going to demonstrate how this works with me really quick. So German, come up here. He's probably out of breath. Alright, so this is a song that they actually love to play in Italy. In fact, this is one of the most popular ensemble songs I've ever heard. Alright, German, everybody. I'm going to play with at the end too. So that's just one example. Go online and type in ocarina ensemble for some incredible performance stuff. Okay, so it took about 50 years or so before they started getting popularized in other parts of the country. Thanks to World War I and World War II, men from America and the different European countries were kind of flying all over. They got really popular in America. The 10-hole, I actually have another one here actually. This is from the 1940s, this particular ocarina. I'm just going to throw this out there really quick. If you listen to some old movies from the 1920s to 1940s, ocarinas actually appear in the soundtrack. In fact, if you listen to The Wizard of Oz, there's an ocarina in the scene with the scarecrow, and it's the when he goes da 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 da. That's an ocarina. I'm so happy that I know that. But I was gonna play that for you too. That's a really cool little piece of trivia. Okay. So they got really popular in America. They went all over the different countries. They made it to Japan, where in the 1920s, the range was extended from an octave and a half. The 10-hole can play an octave and a half. 12 holes have a range of almost 2 octaves. They play 13 notes. And all they did was they add these 2 little holes on the middle. So I need to point this out because some of you might have some where the little holes are one for the right hand and one for the left. And then some of you might have them so that they're both on the right hand. These are called subholes, and there's 2 styles. The Japanese style is where both subholes are for your right hand, and the Taiwanese style is where you reach down like this. So if you're ever looking at an ocarina shop or something, you can tell the difference between the 2. It's really down to personal preference which one is better. I like the Taiwanese style, but I can play the Japanese style just fine as well. This is also the most popular style today. It's what like the Chinese knockups are being made from. Most ocarina makers are making the 12-hole style as well. And it's really the maximum amount of notes you can get out of a single chamber ocarina. Let's see, after that, we have pendants. In the 1980s, about 50 years later, there was an English mathematician named John Taylor who shrunk the 8-tone scale into a 4-hole ocarina. And if you are familiar with how instruments work, that's pretty incredible actually, because this is an example of a pendant. It kind of makes sense to have an 8-tone scale with 8 holes because you have one note for each hole. But he figured out that because of how the ocarina works, and remember I said the more holes you have open, the higher the pitch. Because of the different diameters, you can actually exchange your fingers to create different volumes within the ocarina. So volume being like interior volume. So this is how you play the scale on this one. So I'm kind of waving my fingers back and forth, but and they later extended the range to 10 notes by adding 2 thumb holes. So there is a difference of about 3 notes, but you can still do a lot of the same songs that the 10 and 12 holes can do. So these are pretty cool. I like these ones. What's most amazing about these are the compact size. These make perfect necklaces. Like this is the 4-hole. This even though it's kind of big, it's the same like range as this one, but you can notice like the size difference. It's about 2/3 the size. So pendants make excellent necklaces. Around the same time, or actually, wait, what's that? 63. Okay, so 20 years later, they were further developed into inline shapes, which is like this one here. Some people I've met today actually have a problem with their wrist, so that they feel like this is really uncomfortable for them. I personally don't feel like it's super uncomfortable, but naturally our wrists want to do this. So it's kind of like you're holding a sandwich. I just realized. That's cool. So this is like your sandwich ocarina, and you play. It's a really similar style to playing like this. It's just linear like this. This particular ocarina was designed by my friend Carl Ahrens. He loves Celtic music, and so he had a problem with the tin whistle because it wouldn't fit in his pocket. And so he wanted something that you could throw in his backpack and fit into his pocket really easily. So inlines are really cool for that. The ones he makes are in C and G. This one's in G, and then I have another friend, Charlie Hine, who makes incredible wooden ocarinas. And they come in all different sizes of inlines. So similar range to pendants, just a different style. Extended range. These have been experimented on for the last about 7 years, 80 years. People kind of didn't like the range that single chambers had, about 1.5 octaves, so they started adding other ocarinas to the first chamber. So this is an example of a extended range ocarina. This is what we call a triple. After you start adding chambers, you don't even count the holes anymore, so I don't know how many holes this is. This is the first chamber here, similar to a 12-hole. This is the second chamber. If it didn't have the third, it would just be called a double, but this is a triple because of the third chamber here. What's amazing about these is that you can play in so many more keys than you can on the standard 10 or 12-hole ocarina, just because you have so many different pitches available to you. Doubles have 2 octaves, triples have 2.5 octaves, and they make such a thing as a quadruple, which is 3 octaves or more. But let me play this for you first, and then you'll see why quadruples are a bad idea. So this is the triple. First chamber, second chamber, and third chamber. So if you imagine the fourth chamber, it's like a tumor tacked on there, and it sounds like a dog whistle. So, and they're over $500. This one's $500. The quadruples go for like $600, $700, or $800, sometimes $1,000. So, if you hate dogs, then you could probably get one. But the triple usually is pretty good. So let me do a quick demo for you. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but check out my switch. There's less switching in there than I remembered, but yeah, but you saw I was doing a janky thing there. Okay, so going back like full circle, the very first ocarinas that were discovered in the by the Incas and the Aztecs were polyphonic. They played multiple tones at the same time. Polyphonic just means multiple tones, and they could create really beautiful complex harmonies. So we still make those today. Songbird has a couple available downstairs you can check out. I brought this one. This is the only one we have here this weekend of this style. It's two ocarinas, but instead of switching back and forth, you can play them at the same. You can play them by themselves or by themselves at the same time. So this is a lower one that's an alto. This is a higher one that's a soprano. Both left. And then together. Wow! Best reaction ever. Alright, so this is if I do some harmonies. So the left chamber is the exact same notes from the right chamber, but they're just an octave up. This one's actually tuned in fourths. This is by my friend Cynthia Smith up in Alaska. It's made from wood, and the bottom chamber I think is like in G, and the upper one's in a fourth up, I believe. So you can do, I know like two songs on this thing, one that I made up and then one that a friend taught me, and it kind of sounds like a Looney Tunes theme. I don't know if you guys are old enough for that, but I'm just saying. These are really hard to play, I'm not even going to lie. They take a lot of practice to figure out how the harmonies work. You have to use both sides of your brain, you might get a headache. So it's quite the challenge, but it's worth it if you can sit down and figure it out. So we're at the part where we are going to talk about how to actually play these things. They use two different styles, like I said. The top are the linear style, and you basically just lift up one finger at a time from right to left. So not super complicated. And then the Pannel style uses a cross finger pattern, as you can see there. The black holes are the ones you open or close, and the white ones are the ones you open. A lot of the most number one biggest question I get, no, it's not proper grammar, that I get all the time is that which one's easier to start with? And for musicians, I like to recommend the 12-hole. The linear style just makes so much more sense going from right to left, kind of like a piano, backwards from a piano, a recorder, or flute. And the pendant I like to recommend for kids or people who just feel like that's way too much stuff going on. So they both take practice, whether you have a music background or not, so don't be overwhelmed by one choice or the other. You can eventually buy both. I have so many friends that start on one or the other, and they're like, you know what, I just want 100 ocarinas, and then they go crazy. So if you picked up an ocarina this weekend, we can actually try to play these together. The problem with this is that you guys probably have different keys, so it's going to sound disastrous. But I want to try it anyway. So go ahead and pick up your ocarinas. We're going to try the scale together. Alright. So we're just going to play the basic scale. We're going to stop. There's like two notes at the right. We're not going to play those last two notes on either of those. We're just going to play up to the 8th one, which is without the thumb holes. So the thumb holes are going to stay down, okay? So let's do like 2 beats per note. Do, 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 do. Don't jump ahead of me. There's some of you out there. It happens every single time. So try to stay with me. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Alright, that's pretty good. Good job. Alright, let's make these harder. But most of you probably know this. This isn't complicated. So, hey, slow down. Alright, so basically how it works with the rhythms, this is the worst thing I don't like about notation, by the way, which I'll talk about in a second. But there isn't really a notate rhythm for you, so you have to kind of go by the spaces. So that first one is do, do, do. So when they're close together, you play them a little bit faster. Do, 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 those three, and then do, do. Okay. The hardest part about this song is if you look at the second row, you lift up your thumb. So it's all holes off on top except for your left pinky and your left thumbs for both styles of ocarina. Okay? So let's try it together. Take your time. Don't rush. Alright. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 1, go. Second line. That was pretty good. Let's do it one more time. Okay. Ready? 1, ready, go. We should have started with this one. This is the easiest song to play in ocarina, I'm convinced. So it doesn't go past an octave. So usually the top note is just the high C. Oh no, wait, am I lying?
Let's go back to 3 days ago.
You know what? There's a wrong note on the bottom. But if you know the song, you'll figure it out.
No, but then we know what we have to.
Oh, you know what the problem is? That's the wrong song. That's not the lullaby. Alright, I'm sorry, Pannel users. You guys are out on this one. Okay. You know what? If you know the song anyway, just play it. Just you'll figure it out. This is. You can watch me, okay? So this is the first note. Okay, everybody, here we go. 1, ready, go. My apologies. I saw this last panel I did, and I was like, I'm gonna fix that. No, it didn't happen. Okay. Does anybody want a real challenge? This
Ooh, take the on.
This is the Japanese version of Tapion's theme. I'm not gonna make you play it. If you want to, you can, but I'm just gonna go ahead and play it for you real quick. I hear some people trying. Good for you. Okay. Just really quickly, just one time through. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. You guys are awesome. Good job. Nice. Questions? Any questions? Yes.
If I were to, when you're doing like concerts and stuff, do they give you that kind of notation or is it sheet paper?
I strictly use sheet music usually. I'm totally fine with tabs for beginner, but as a music major, as as a professional musician, I cannot go without sheet music because the rhythms are so important, and also just the other stuff that the composers included. Like dynamics actually don't play a huge role, but because ocarinas are kind of fickle about you adjusting the dynamics, they're kind of built in, which dynamics is another word for like changes in volume. Sheet music is just 10 times better. So if you're just starting out, tabs are totally fine. We sell tab books downstairs at the Songbird table, but the sooner you can figure out how to read sheet music, the music world is just going to open up for you because there's so much sheet music out there compared to tablature. And even the tabs that are out on the websites that you find online are the websites that you find online. I hope that's where they're at. You can never guarantee that they're correct. Some people just don't have like a really good relative pitch, so they don't transcribe it correctly. And so like the books we have downstairs are correct for tabs, but for the most part, I don't know what's correct on the internet. So sheet music. I actually have a free video tutorial series which I can email you guys a link to, and I have some business cards too that you can take from my YouTube channel, which is just youtube.com/DarkJazz4 right there. And I have a free sheet music tutorial series on my YouTube. So that good question. There was a question. Yes.
So the cheap one, the one you said is the worst one.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that one and STL's Zelda one? It looks very similar.
These were ripoffs of the STL one.
Okay, so is the STL one okay?
The STL one is good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's not great. There's a better one, Songbird, but other than that, it's not a bad ocarina. It's pretty good. Yes. That's a good question. When you buy, I know when you buy a Songbird Ocarina, there's actually a chart in there. Most of the time they have the solfege, which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So you can figure out the notes, pitches for that. I will post on my website. I don't think it's there right now, but I'll tweet out somewhere. I'll put a link where you can figure out the notes. The most difficult part about that is if your ocarina is in a specific key, like G or B flat, then it's going to be completely different for you. But I can post something for C ocarinas. Yeah. Yeah, for sharps and flats, it's a little more difficult. I do have a video that shows you the sharps and flats for transverse ocarinas. So you can check out my YouTube channel for that. I have a series called Oc Talk, like Ocarina Talk, and we cover all these kinds of issues: sharps and flats, how to play scales and sheet music, and all that stuff. Yes.
Hi. When I'm playing like at home, my usually everything with my press control is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm ever like nervous, even a little bit, or if I've been playing like big songs,
Yeah.
I find my press control is gone.
Yeah, that's.
For how to deal with that.
A lot of practice actually, because I do something called, as a singer, I studied voice in college. As a singer, we learn something called diaphragmatic breathing, and that's a lot of support from your belly area, I guess, your diaphragm. And so a lot of that control is just from your core. And so the more you practice with that, just deep breathing. So just a really quick breath lesson. Posture is so important with any flute-like instrument, so making sure that you're sitting up straight, your chest is kind of out, shoulders back. Typically what we do when we breathe is shallow breathing, so it's all up here in your lungs, and your shoulders rise, you take a deep breath. This is actually not good. This is supposed to stay up, and you're supposed to engage your abdominal area.
Hey, what's up again?
You can actually, I'm going to embarrass myself, this is my belly, so when I take a deep breath, you see it kind of expands, and this is supposed to expand as well. And that's just really practice. You stand in front of a mirror, you can actually stand up with your back against the wall to make sure your posture's good, and just keep focusing on breathing from down here. A lot of it's psychological, you just have to focus.
Muscle memory.
Muscle memory too, yes, that's a really good point. So the more you do it, the more familiar your body's going to become with it. And also just being nervous, I used to be really nervous, and when you get nervous, your breath control goes out the window. So you have to just become more comfortable with performing live. So other than, it's just, there's no other way around it, man. So yeah, bring your ocarinas to cons because you'll get over it really quickly. Everybody loves ocarinas at cons, so you bust it out, you play, and then people will throw money at you. I'm not even kidding. If you get good enough, me and my buddy German were practicing last night. Someone gave us $12. It's yeah.
So for sharps and flats, like on a pendant or like a 6-hole, where there's no mini holes on them,
Yeah.
do you cover them halfway?
So I like to say pendants are semi-chromatic. So what you do is for the first couple holes, you half cover them. So this would be C sharp, D, D sharp, half full, and then E, F. And then from there, there's actual finger positions for that. So like this is F sharp, this is B flat, I forget what this is, I think it's A flat. And then from there you do the half holes. We do, in our sheet music books, we actually show you how to do that too. So yeah, good question. Couple more questions. Yes.
Can you play canon rock?
I actually hate that song. But it's just back in the day, like everybody did it, and it was like the thing to do. Like, oh, you must be amazing if you can play canon rock. So I was like, nope, I don't need to play that song to be amazing. So, but to answer your question, I can't play canon rock. If I just do, no, I'm not gonna do it. But I can. You just gotta take my word for it. Yes.
Could you do the song Feeling?
Yes. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna take some requests too. Actually, yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Actually, yeah. What's that song feeling? First one, Freebird. It's actually one of my most requested songs.
Do it!
But half the people I play it for don't know what it is. I could play the Rude Sandstorm, and people would be like, yeah, that's Freebird. So yeah, I'll play it. I was the first player. Yeah, yes, right there.
Weird.
You. I don't like it.
It's so fast, so impressive when you play it.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna be awful, but I'll try it. So we got, we got Song of Feeling, Freebird, and Neon Cat. Yes.
You're requesting Bad Apple.
Oh, really? Has anybody seen my Bad Apple video before? A couple of you? Two of the musicians in that video are actually here. The violin player, Nick Lachey, and Maximum Hamburger is the drummer. So we're gonna recreate it live. I'll play it. I have a backtrack for it. Okay, I'll play the melody. Thank you. Yeah, blue shirt in the back.
Gruda Valley?
Okay. You guys are throwing out too many requests. Can somebody write these down? Okay, hold on. Okay, yeah, question.
In terms of like, I guess if you were to write for ocarina, would you just like, I guess stay in what, I guess like within an octave or just write like scales? Stay within the scale?
That's a good question. So whenever you see sheet music specifically for the ocarina, typically you stay within the middle C to high F range, and then you kind of work your way up from there. So it's kind of like a flute range. And then if you play a different key, like G, it's still written as a C instrument, and it's just transposed for you. Yeah, that's a really good question. I saw somewhere, dude in the yellow shirt. So which one? Actually, do I have one? Yes, okay, so this isn't technically a real vegetable ocarina, but this is one that we saw downstairs. This is a strawberry, and it's not a real strawberry. So, there's that. Yeah, I haven't played a real vegetable before, so that's something for me to do still. I have time for one more question, and I'm going to try to get to your songs because I have 5 more minutes, so yes.
I don't know if you're taking any more requests, but since you have so many, but can you do the Dragon Ball song from Skyrim?
Ooh. Yes. I actually played that with Family Jewel 7X at PAX East, which was the guitar player in the Bad Apple video, and that was really cool. So, yeah, okay, let me start knocking out requests really quickly. Let's see, so I got Peter also just, no, not yet, okay, I didn't die, about to die. What did I have? Remind me, Song of Feeling?
Song of Feeling.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. It's a really long song, so I'm going to stop there. And then Stairway to Heaven. Freebird. Oh, nice one.
Either one's fine.
So this is, I'm not going to go into the crazy solo, this is just like the first half. That's like right before it goes into the crazy solo. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there. What else? What else? Yeah, okay. This is gonna suck, by the way. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, is that? Right, really loud. And I'm gonna close with that apple very quickly. Okay. I like to have like guitar ukulele in the background, but I don't see how that's. I'm actually out of time, but if you come to the booth, I will play that apple for you guys. You know what? I'm actually just going to put that apple out there. That's cool. Thank you guys for coming. Come say hi downstairs to the Songbird Ocarinas booth. Thank you guys.